Hello everybody, welcome back. This will be the last part of the Dark Tiles tutorial, aka the Tutorial 1 Remake. I think, yeah, in the last part we did the roughness, and there was some stuff that we didn't do because it has to do with the metallic that we're going to be focusing on this part. So I'm just going to move our outputs over here back a little bit. Alright, now let's see, where did we leave off? The metallic. So for the metallic, we are going to start with this guy, I believe. Let me check my other graph. Alrighty. So yeah, we are going to pull from this guy about over here. Actually, let's move him down a little bit more. And then we're going to pull out into a blend. I'm just going to copy paste my uniform color here from my other graph. Plug this guy to the top. And then this should be a subtract. Now we have to subtract something from it, obviously, so we have to go up. And oh yeah, we left this guy here. So let's move this over here. Connect it from here. And I think we left this here before because that's what's supposed to go in there. So this is going to go into the opacity, and we're just going to backspace that to dissolve that connector. Where's my metallic? Whoops. Okay, so then we're going to pull from this guy into another blend. This one's going to also be subtract. Then we need this guy again. And then obviously we need something to subtract here with, and I think for this one we are subtracting actually sorry about that. Unplug this guy, hold Alt, and then click to disconnect it. Because actually, oh god. Okay, let's do this. Leave the connector here again so that we remember. Sorry about that. Move these guys back. Let's get rid of that connector. Let's use this one or make a new one. It's supposed to go in the middle. Okay. I should have been paying more close attention. So we actually have to pull from, for the first one, because we're doing this several times. For the first one, we're actually going to pull from the... Okay. We're actually going to be pulling from this guy. I should really be numbering my my blends so I can just match the numbers. So I think I'll be doing that in future. Well, actually, I already started doing that in what will be the, I think it's the 5th. Yeah, the next tutorial. Sometimes I get a little lazy, you know. Okay. So that is the first one. Well, let's move this guy back. And then for this guy, we're pulling from this guy. So you just look for the mask that looks like this. And then same thing. We're just going to add a connector. And then we're going to pull from it. And that's going to go down here. Like that. And then this is what our crystal should look like. I'll just notice one slight mistake. We're not off to a good start. Instead of making this connector and pulling from before, we should be pulling from after. Sorry about that. Like that. And then same thing for this one, should be from after the levels. Like that. Okay, no more mistakes. Okay, so now we are going to make another blend here. And this one is set to subtract as well. We're just subtracting from the metallic because we have dirt and stuff on top. So for this one, we need to pull from our rocks mask. Did we not oh, we didn't label. Should have probably labeled this guy. And yeah, I started a new system for labeling things on the next one. Things will be a little bit we'll be color coding things a little bit so that we know what it is and what it do. Actually, this should be on top. Okay, so right here we're subtracting any rocks that are sitting on top of the diamonds. Just in case they ever do. So if those rocks move, then we will be able to it'll account for that later on. But I think we made it so that they don't spawn on the diamonds, so it should be okay. Okay, we're gonna be using this after the metallic because we still have to go back and edit or add these new things to the roughness, the base color, and then we're gonna tackle emissive, which is something we haven't done yet, which I don't have too much experience with until this project, so that is cool. Okay, so we need another blend here. This one's set to subtract as well, because like I said, we're just subtracting from the metallic. Let's get our uniform color back for this one. And then we need a levels. This one just stayed the same, nothing new about it. Okay, so then here we need to pull from this guy. So yeah, now this guy's coming in handy. Like so. Okay, so yeah, so now we're subtracting, from our dirt generator. And then we're almost done with metallic here, so now let's pull all the way forward. Create a connector. Alright, so we're gonna hit a roadblock here. This is gonna go down there. Because we don't have what's gonna go on top of here yet, I think. Or actually, maybe we do. Okay, just kidding, yes we do. So, from this guy here, we're going to pull out, it's gonna go right here. Let's move this back so it kind of lines up. And then here we're adding, because the little like shavings, the little specks on the floor, those are going to be metallic as well, because they're supposed to be like pieces or, pre-refined crystal flakes. So they're going to be metallic. So we need to make sure that they're added. Okay. So now, I think that's it for metallic. Okay, so let's bring this back and see what that looks like. I always keep the default uniform black near it, just in case I ever want to turn off metallic. So before and after, you can see the difference on the golden bits there. I think right now it's like plastic because it doesn't have a metallic value, and now it does. And so do all our little specks on the ground. So that's cool. Right, we're just gonna move that over here. Okay, so now we need to. Okay, I thought we had something left to do for base color, but I don't think there is. There's one more thing to do in roughness, but we can't do that until we do our emissive. So now we're gonna work on emissive. So by default, in the template that we chose at the very start, it didn't have an emissive output with the default template that we chose. So we have to make a new one. So we're gonna go below our metallic. I try to keep the not so complicated stuff like the metallic and the emissive outside of the stuff, so it doesn't get like unnecessarily mixed with everything. So I tend to keep those on the outside. But you know, if you set your grab up a different way, then whatever works for you best. Okay, so we're just gonna hit spacebar here, and we're gonna type in output. Um, that's gonna spawn this little guy. And for the identifier, we're just gonna write emissive, and then for the label, we're gonna write emissive but with a capital E. And then the important thing here is that you have to click this thing right here, add item, hit the little plus, and then our emissive is gonna have color. So this is fine. This needs to change to emissive. Color space. I don't know. I didn't touch it and it worked, but maybe it should be sRGB because it does have color information. But I'm just gonna leave it for now because it worked without it. If I were to bring this into engine and there'd be an issue, I might come back and just check this. But I don't know if this is necessary or not. Maybe. Um, I'll explore that a little bit more when I do an Unreal Engine tutorial, so I can show you guys how to bring in your stuff in there. That'll be cool. Okay. So to start with our emissive, we are going to pull from our dirt mask. So this guy. This is our diamonds after dirt. The guy we've been using a lot of. Okay. So from the very end here, we're just gonna go into a non-uniform blur grayscale. Like that. The goal right now is that we're trying to. I don't want the entire crystal to be emissive, because it is covered in dirt and being crept on by the dirt and dust and whatnot from around it. Then I want kind of like the emissive to be a little fainter and more pronounced, like towards the center. So we're using this blur, this non-uniform blur, by itself, like we've done in previous tutorials, to get this effect, like a smooth inset. And then we're gonna blur the outside a little bit and darken it so that the emissive is more like on the center of the crystal. So for example, because we have dirt over here, then you know it's gonna take the shape of that, and because we're using the dirt, the mask after the dirt. Okay, so we'll need our levels afterwards. Now these are the settings for that, and then we need another blend, subtract, plug that into the middle. Now we need to subtract something from it. That something is our rock mask. Okay, so we just used our rock. This guy. Perfect. So yeah, leave that guy there. That's why we have him there. And then that's gonna go on top. So now if there's ever any rocks sitting on top, then the rock's gonna cover the light, of course. But we made it so that the rocks don't spawn on there, but just in case you do want rocks spawning on the crystals, then this would be your safety net because you wouldn't want the light to go through the rock. Okay, so always keep that in mind. And I guess if you didn't remember, you would notice that your rock is emitting light. Which could work if you wanted to have like chunks of this crystal that have broken off maybe. That could be cool. And then like those chunks are giving off light still. Like there's still a little bit of magical essence or something in them. Okay, so another blend, and this one's set to subtract. Now we're going to be subtracting our dirt. So whatever we used in here, we're just going to create a connector here. Like that. So now you can see the difference. The dirt just on top is kind of covering a little bit of the light. Alright, we're almost done. Then we need another blend. And this one's set to add, because we're going to be adding the shavings. So we are going to pull from this guy again. Okay, so yeah, so we're just gonna add it directly on top because we also want those to give off light. Now, Emissive uses color. I mean, it seems like it can use grayscale. What if I do this? Oh god, now it's stuck with. Okay. Okay, I thought maybe if I set the to color, it would make this orange only, but I guess not. So I'm just gonna undo that. Um, right, so we're gonna put in color here because we want to be able to control the color of the light, not just have it be a grayscale value. Because at that point, you just be like increasing and decreasing the intensity of the light because the darker you go, the less bright it'll be. So we need to transform this into a color. So you can just do a gradient map. It takes in grayscale and it outputs color. And then we need a blend because now we need to tell it to be a color. Now you could do like you could do the color in here, but I want the color to be driven by the color that we assigned it when we painted these. So I'm gonna put this in here, and this is set to multiply. And we need to now pull from from right here. Technically, you really only want it from the crystals, but we are going to be masking it out ourselves. So this guy, because this guy has the specs. So we're gonna pull, and that's gonna go on top. And because it's set to multiply, it's the black stuff is being taken out. Because here we only have white showing. So with color, just like grayscale, anything times black is gonna give you black. So this is basically our mask, and it's masking out, you know, our tile, not our tiles, our rocks. Those things aren't gonna be emissive. Okay. So then we can just plug that in. Now you will notice that nothing happens, and that's because our emissive intensity is set to 0. So you have to find that setting, similar to how we have to go into the material edit to change, like if we zoom out here, we can change our tiling and stuff. If you want to zoom in, if you want to zoom out, just to test your tileability, we're gonna go back to 1. Um, in here, same with like our height and stuff. I think we said what we were using, 5. I'm gonna keep that at 8. Um, so yeah, down here, and I'm using the Steam version, like I said. So yours might be this might look a little different, but emission should be on here. And right now it's set to 1. Oh, okay. Before we change this, this should be working, but the reason why it's not right away is because we haven't told this output node to work on our 3D window. So if you right click it and then hit view in 3D, it'll ask you to give it a like a slot. So this is the emissive, so just look for emissive. Not emissive intensity, just emissive. And now it should be giving off light, you can see there. So if I were to plug this black thing in here, it turns off. And then you can see that the specs are also lighting up. Now if you want to mess with the intensity, then you go to edit like we did before. And then you can turn it up brighter than the sun if you like. That's very cool. Now the cool thing is because we didn't give you know, this thing its own individual color. The color is being driven by this guy Then if we make a change to the color to, I don't know, I like green. Green, then it's gonna match the color. If you had done a different uniform color here, then you'd have to make sure those two uniform colors are always matching. But because it's being driven this way, then whatever color this is, it's gonna affect everything that comes afterwards. Obviously the intensity here is a little too bright, but if you were to bring this into like Marmoset or Unreal, in the material shader, like in the material editor, you could change the intensity there. Because the intensity isn't, when you export these textures, the intensity isn't going to translate. The intensity that you're changing in here is only going to be for designer. You would have to do additional setup in uh, Unreal or Marmoset, and this might be a good idea for a future video. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. How to set up like emissive with a material that you make in here, because I know sometimes I run into issues when I try to import my textures into Unreal Engine, like a little bit ago. Um, and there's some things to some settings sometimes you might run into, because right now we're working with DirectX, but some people like to work with OpenGL for normal format, and sometimes you have to flip the green channel. That's basically the difference between DirectX and OpenGL, and that is the green channel being flipped. So if you see the green channel right here, the green's at the bottom. If you hit this, then the green goes on top. Don't make me look like a fool. Yeah. And if you ever make a change to these, you have to make sure that all of anything that has to do with normal format, they all have to match up. I like to work in DirectX, um, but in Marmoset, you have to flip the green channel, or otherwise your stuff's gonna look goofy. Okay, now there's one last thing we have to do, and that was the roughness thing. So let's go over here, and this guy. Is it this guy? No, not this guy. This guy can go away. Let's pick a different cool color just to wrap this up. Let's go like with like a red. Who doesn't like red? Ooh, look at that. Alright, so let's go back over here, and we will need to add a blend set to screen this time. And we need to pull from the thing that we plugged into right before our blur down here. Like that. And then that's going to go into an ambient occlusion. And then an invert grayscale. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't like it sometimes. So if sometimes you have this issue, like I said, just do it in reverse. I don't know why. It doesn't work one way, but it does the other. These are the ambient occlusion settings. I think those are the standard. Invert grayscale doesn't have anything. And then for the blur, we're just doing this. Then this is going to feed into a levels. Those are the level settings. And then this is just going to plug into the top here. So what we did in this last step here is just add a bit of like roughness around the crystals. Just a minor detail. That's it. And I think, let me just do one quick check. Yeah, I think that's it. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if there's any questions you guys have. What do you think about this new format where I just copy paste from the other graph? And you guys can look at the settings that way. Because I think if I, try to input everything myself, we might be here a very long time. And then let me know if you'd want to see how to bring this into Marmoset so you can render out your materials, your textures, and maybe into Unreal Engine as well, and see what that's like, and maybe give you guys some solutions to some of the problems that might arise. Alright guys, thank you for watching. See you guys on the next tutorial.